Assalamu alaikum, bonjour, namaste, hujambo, and a very, very good morning wherever you are tuned in and watching our videos. It's a beautiful day again, and grateful to be alive and well, and we want to thank the gods of the day for giving us the breath of life. School of thought for today: be careful if you fall victim to what we call hybrid resignation. Now, I have seen this pattern, and I have observed and I've heard also familiar stories of what is now forming a pattern of what we call hybrid resignation. And this is how it happens, and this is how it works. And it has affected negatively many employees when they take this kind of decision, when they want to twist the organization to reconsider their position, or to try and make sure that they have what we call a financial review. So what will happen in this case, and pardon me, what will happen in this case is a colleague is going to tender their resignation, and they will decide that their time is up with the company, and they're ready now to make an exit and move to another company. Now, what happens is some of these colleagues, they end up resigning, and they give a month's notice, which is fairly okay based on their contractual agreement. Whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it doesn't matter. They go ahead and they resign. In literally, I think almost all the companies, when a colleague resigns, there's a process that normally happens within the 2 days of receiving the resignation letter, and this is what we call an exit interview. Now, it is during the exit interview that you get to hear lots and lots of stories and lots of demand, and sometimes it doesn't go in favor of how the colleague expected things will turn out. For example, an employee will resign and give you the resignation, and after you receive the resignation, you call this employee for what we call the exit interview. Now, during the exit interview, the employee says that if the company will reconsider and increase their salary or their benefits for whatever reason, then they will withdraw the resignation. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If, for example, the colleague was good enough, say an average colleague or even a very good colleague, sometimes the company will be will find themselves in a catch-22 situation, whereby you really know that the colleague is important and the colleague is good and the colleague is competent, but now the challenge is the colleague has presented a situation whereby if you are to keep this colleague, then you need to negotiate with this colleague from how you're going to review and meet his terms and conditions. I have observed time without number, and I've even heard this kind of situations in the past, whereby a colleague has placed a demand, and now it's time for the company or the organization to try and review if they can be able to meet this demand or not. Why? Because they still want to retain this colleague. Now, this is the danger of such kind of a practice. Fair enough, you can reconsider and negotiate and bargain with this colleague, and peradventure even go ahead and retain this colleague with a review of a salary, and the colleague withdraws the resignation. Now, if it becomes a pattern, and because the colleagues will always talk, this is where disaster will strike. What are you going to do when you get the next resignation and the next resignation? And these resignations are not really honest resignation. They are what I call hybrid resignation. Resignations that have been drafted by colleagues so that they can be able to arm twist the organization or the company to reconsider their positions or their benefits and see if they can be able to increase their salary. Now, some colleagues have fallen victim where they end up resigning, and during that resignation and during the exit interview, in the hope that the company will renegotiate with the employee, the company accepts the resignation and goes ahead to formalize the exit of the colleague. Only after a couple of trials, 2-3 days, the colleague comes back and says, I wish to withdraw my resignation. At this point in time, already the company has made up their mind. So, this is the challenge. You've already resigned. The company has accepted your resignation. That means it's a point of no return. You have nothing to bargain anymore. And here you are now pleading to be reconsidered back into the organization. And you had always decided, because you want to follow pattern of what others are doing, you go ahead and you resign. So, we have seen colleagues who have had to swallow the bitter pill, resign, go, fail to get that negotiating, bargaining chip, and they lose their job with no plan B. That spells doom for colleague. So, I'll continue with this part tomorrow, but just for a start, be careful when you enter into what we call a hybrid resignation as a form of an arm twist to your organization to reconsider your pay, to reconsider your salary, to reconsider your review, because you might resign thinking that they will reconsider, only to find that they will accept your resignation and not reconsider hiring you back. From us, be safe, be kind, God bless, and I'll continue with the episode 2 of this hybrid resignation.